What's going on, guys? Chase with IW Hockey, hanging out with JD, category manager of skates for Bauer Hockey. Usually we would be on the ice right now, JD. Times are a little bit different this year in 2020. So all things considered, I'm hanging out here in California at my house. And where are you at right now?
I'm at our global headquarters here in beautiful Exeter, New Hampshire. Just, again, just having fun and getting through these different times. So
definitely. Well, speaking of some good-looking property, we've got your new Supreme Ultrasonic skates in front of us. I've got to say it's probably one of the bigger changes in the Supreme line we've seen, especially when we talk about fit and everything. How would you maybe describe your guys' goal with this ultrasonic line, coming from that very successful 2S Pro line?
Yeah, so Supreme has been, it's a very popular family from a skate standpoint, and there's a lot of things that we've learned about it, and again, consumer research is something that we've been really focused on over the last couple of years, and what we've learned is that there's different playing styles out there. And different skating strides, and most of the consumers can see themselves as a powerful skater or quick and agile. So what we really wanted to do here was really maximize the power component of the skate and really deliver that in a unique package kind of moving forward. So if you consider yourself a power player or a very technical power skating type player, this is going to be a skate line that has been designed and engineered for you.
So if you've been watching me and JD's videos for the past couple of years, usually I start off talking with fit profile and what fit profile the Supreme line is. This year we started off with the style of skater, just because we have a new fit system. So if you are a power player, can you maybe give us a quick breakdown and which price points you offer these new fit profiles in?
Yeah, so we have our new 3D fit system, which it comprises of Fit 1, Fit 2, and Fit 3. Those price points, or where those new fit options are in our new Ultrasonic, our new 3S Pro, and our new 3S skates. So it's all kind of that mid-level price points and up. So when you think about it, for those players who really value performance, and are looking to get the most out of their skates, you've got multiple options and multiple price points to be able to find not only the right performance, but also get into that really ultimate fit as well. So this line is being designed and engineered to give the consumer as much choice as possible.
So if you are a current vapor skater, but you like a powerful stride, or if you're a Nexus skater and you have a powerful stride, you're going to be able to use one of these fits in both the Ultrasonic 3S Pro as well as the 3S. So real quick too, how about that S37? What other fit profiles do we see not available in the fit system real quick?
Yeah, so those are kind of the S37, S35. They're more offered in conventional fitting system. We call them 2D fit. So you can choose your length as well as your width options. The width options come in a D and a double E. So think of a D as being kind of more on the narrow side, double E on the wide side. At the lower price points, they're still a really good fitting skate for you. But if you do value the ultimate fit and getting that perfect fit for you, the 3D fit is kind of at the price point slightly up from there.
So we led with style skater and how this is the powerful, explosive skate compared to the vapor, which is more of that quick, agile, east to west style of skater. We see a lot of big changes in this ultrasonic. So what are a couple key upgrades that we find this year that are really helping tailor Supreme to power?
Yeah, so obviously it starts with the what we call the quarter construction. So think of it as the boot, right? So the boot of the skate is our carbon curve composite that we've been using for years, and that's got some really lightweight properties. It's very thermoformable, but it's also very reactive as well. So you're going to get a lot of kind of performance out of that main boot construction. But one of the key things that we focused on is kind of the sole of the skate and the boot, and having a way that we can manufacture and fuse those two parts together. So basically it kind of creates a unique system where the bottom portion of the boot, so think of it from the logo down, This area through here, through this unique fusion process, allows for us to stiffen just the lower portion of the skate. Anytime that you can stiffen the lower portion of the skate, the skate's not going to torque as much during the skating stride, and ultimately you're going to get a little bit more of a stronger push-off in each and every one of your strides. So there, it's all about energy transfer and maximizing that power output in each and every stride. I think a couple unique items is a new Tendon Guard as well. So what we've done here is we've continued to apply a flex Tendon Guard, so that Tendon Guard does have the flexibility to it. But what you'll notice is it's got a little bit more of a recoil to it. So it has a little bit more of a snap back than some of the Tendon Guards that we've had in the past. So again, you think about a power skater, they got a technical stride, they push off very strongly, and then they have a long extended stride. This Tendon Guard is going to allow for them to extend their foot as far back as possible, kick with their toe, but then allow them to recoil their foot and their leg back as quickly as possible, so that you can continue to continue your motion forward. The next portion would be kind of in the toe cap area. So drafting off the success of our Vapor line, we went with an asymmetrical taper with Vapor. We've done the same thing here. So we've eliminated a lot of the negative space inside of the front portion of the boot by going to an asymmetrical taper. But because this boot has a little bit more of a wrap, which creates a little bit more stability, what we had to do was change the dimension of the toe cap so that it's got a little bit more dimension and it has a little bit more connectivity there. So you're going to notice that it has a little bit more volume in the height as well as in the all the way throughout throughout the toe cap. But again, we've eliminated that negative space so that you get, again, more direct energy output in each and every stride.
You mentioned more wrap too. How were you able to accomplish that? And I'm guessing it has to do with a more traditional facing.
Yeah, so if you look at kind of the bottom eyelet to the top, you'll notice that the eyelet pattern is much more kind of gradual than it was in the past, or even versus kind of Vapor, where it's kind of the top 4 eyelets and then it kind of cuts straight across. This one's much more gradual, which means you're going to get that wrap feel all the way throughout. But if you have a skate that wraps a little bit more, if you use a facing that is a little bit more on the stiff side, you're not going to be able to get that flex forward. It's just the material doesn't kind of work with the rest of the boot. So we went to a more standardized eyelet configuration on Supreme to allow for the player to have that wrap and that stability, but still maintain the flex characteristics of the skate. So, you know, the combination of the two need to work together. And what we found is, you know, the injected facing works better for those quick and agile players who have a boot configuration one way, and this eyelet pattern works better for, you know, players looking to maximize the performance, because you get a little bit more range of motion.
And, you know, we're talking a lot of key upgrades in the boot, but we're also seeing a big upgrade below the boot too.
Yep.
I mean, a really big change this year. If I remember correctly, 2 years ago is when we saw the carbon steel, and now we see another big upgrade as far as materials and profile goes. So what's going on here with the Pulse TI?
Yeah, so we have a new Pulse line of steel that is coming out as part with in combination with our Supreme lineup. The Pulse TI that is featured on the Ultrasonic comprises of a new core materials, new materials that we have never used before, and basically that premium core material allows for the skate sharpener to kind of get a good clean edge as quickly and efficiently as possible. It doesn't take as many passes on the wheel, so, you know, preserving the life of your steel, the composition and the height of your steel for a longer period of time was a key component. The other thing that we've done is, you know, through our RD&D is we've worked on some different coatings. So as good as LS5 is from a performance standpoint, what we really wanted to focus on is the coating to have a little bit more longevity to it. So we're working with a titanium coating, which obviously has that nice shiny kind of look to it, but it's also a little bit more of a permanent kind of coating as well. So right then and there, you know, you're going to know what those coatings do. They keep the edge, the integrity of the edge for a longer period of time. So, you know, with the life of the coating being extended and the hardness of the titanium, you're going to get a nice, clean, sharp edge for a longer period of time. I think what I've noticed, both personally as well as working with professional players, is that the bite of this steel is it's got a lot of bite to it. So in some cases, if you're in a certain sharpening, you might want to go down a hollow or two to compensate for that, because again, you're going to get a lot of bite out of it. And when you do that, you're also going to be able to get a little bit more glide properties out of it. So there's some real performance advantages to our new steel, and we're very excited about bringing out a higher quality steel.
And that was something you recommended on the LS5. So would you say that this new Pulse TI has even more bite than what we saw in the previous generation?
Yeah, I would say like out of the box, the LS5 to the titanium, very similar in terms of the bite and the feel. I just think, that permanent aspect, the new titanium coating, it just has a tendency to last a little bit longer. So you're going to, kind of maintain that bite a little bit longer. If you've adjusted your hollow with the LS5, you're probably going to want to stay in that similar hollow. But if you're into, like an LS3 or something else, that you're definitely going to want to adjust.
And then what about at the very bottom, we see a new profile. What can you tell me about the new design?
Yeah, very interesting process for our entire team to go through. We built a relationship with ProSharp, who's an industry leader in profiling, and they walked us through some exercises of trying different profiles, and started with a 10-foot and moved to a combo, went to a superior and a quad. And what we found was, like when you find that right profile for you, you can definitely improve your performance very, very heavily as well. So our new power profile that is featured on the Ultrasonic, as well as the 3S and the 3S Pro, has it's modeled off of ProSharp's quad profile. So it's 4 unique radii. So on the front, middle back, and back. So there's 4 very unique profiles, which makes it very versatile when you're doing your different pivots and getting off the blocks. But ultimately what it does is it increases the contact surface of the blade in through that middle portion of the boot. So that contact surface, again, more blade contact surface, you're going to get a little bit more power output throughout. But again, the back and front, there's a lot of stability built into those areas. And just speaking from experience, in comparison to some of the profiles that we had on our skates in the past, you're definitely going to feel much more stable, much more stronger, and much more balanced on your steel with these profiles.
And like you mentioned, we're seeing this in the 3S Pro as well as 3S. We've covered pretty much the entirety of the Ultrasonic. 3S Pro is getting a handful of awesome technologies like the profile being handed down here. So what are a couple of key features that we're going to find that really make this 3S Pro stand out this year?
Yeah, so in a lot of ways, this skate here is a very, call it a pro stock type skate. So if you look at the base construction of the boot, it's got that curved composite construction. So you're getting into a good pro level boot here that's going to provide you all the same stability, the power outputs that you would notice with a very high end skate. You'll notice that the toe box, the pattern of the boot are very similar to the Ultrasonic. But the Tendon Guard is very similar, but the big changes here are going to be in the tongue. So you'll get a classic felt tongue, which is a very popular tongue among professional levels, and is available on the custom side of things. Instead of getting that full wrap unibody construction, we use a conventional carbon composite construction on the outsole. So again, still stiffens just the lower portion of the boot, but doesn't have the same stiffness as the Ultrasonic. And then you'll have the Pulse steel on this one. So instead of using a titanium coating, what we use here is a high gloss or a mirror finish on this Pulse steel. It uses the same base materials. The core materials are the same, but the outer finish is a little bit more shinier, which has a little bit more kind of glide components to it. But we maintain the profile as well. But this here is a lot of value for those high-end players kind of moving out. So the power output, the stiffness and stuff like that. It's a very elite level skate.
Yeah, and I like how you put it too. It's pro stock. A lot of those guys are a little more traditional in their taste, maybe just the white felt and stuff like that. But pro stock, elite level, and just tons of value from top to bottom.
Exactly, and I think that's what we tried to do with this skate is put a lot of things that we would have done in the past on our high end boots. We tried to do as best as we can to bring it down into kind of a key price point.
And then what about the 3S? Nothing like this kind of mid to higher end price point. This is where I find that you get just some of the most bang for your buck, just because considering the price, this is probably like a high end skate from 5 or 6 years ago. So
yeah.
It really is loaded from top to bottom. So what are a couple key features that we're going to find on this 3S?
Well, this one is a big one. So what we're using here is what we call a flex composite quarter. So it's a full composite quarter that gives you that lightweight. When you pick up this skate, you're going to definitely feel how lightweight it is. So that flex composite material has a lot of the similar features from a weight perspective that you would see on a curved composite. It has the same thermoforming properties. The big difference is when you look at the base material itself, you won't see the kind of the weave on the inside, so it's not as reinforced. So again, it's not as stiff, so it's a little bit more kind of a flexible composite material, but you're getting that lightweight feel, you're getting the thermoforming properties, but something that's a little bit easier for players to flex on as well. So again, kind of drafting off of that, we want to deliver on the ultimate fitting and drive value. Going full composite at this price point was a significant upgrade. If you look at the tongue, it's a very high-end 40-ounce felt tongue with an injected metatarsal guard. Again, we've used these tongues on professional level skates for a long period of time. And again, when you feel it, it's not as robust as maybe the 3S Pro from a stiffness standpoint, but it's got a lot of the same protection properties. It's very, very comfortable and very easy to use as well. One big thing here that you'll notice from a different standpoint, we use a conventional toe cap here versus the asymmetrical. Again, just kind of focusing a little bit more on the comfort aspect. And then last but certainly not least is that blade profile. So we're using an LS Plus blade. This LS Plus uses a high-end core material that is become kind of a custom with Bauer steel. Has the power profile on it as well. Again, modeled off the Pro Sharp quad profile, but then you'll notice that the finish is more of what we call a sandblasted finish. So it doesn't have that mirror finish. So again, very similar to an LS3, an LS2 type steel from a finish standpoint. So again, driving a lot of value down throughout this boot. But the biggest one for me was finding that right composite material that we could use on this particular skate.
Yeah, truly an elite level boot at that mid to high price point. Let's slide.
So just before I kind of jump off of this, one of the key things to look for is the differences in the junior and youth skate. So we don't use that same composite material on this boot. We use what's called a fiber composite. So when you do the Charmin test, you'll notice that these skates are a little bit more softer to the feel. Again, we've engineered these skates for a kind of a younger consumer so that they can, flex the boot properly and execute the skating stride a little bit easier. But in addition to that, we've added what's called flex motion to the skate. So that flex motion really enhances the forward flex. It's almost like you can, for players who drop an eyelet, it gives you that same level of flex that you would if you dropped an eyelet, but it's built into the skate. So you can lace the skate up all the way to the top, which maintains your side-to-side stability, but maximizes the forward flex on the skate as well. So when you look at this particular line, you have to really look at the junior and youth skates and say, hey, they're a little bit different than the senior skates because they've been designed and engineered for a younger player and allowing them to execute that skating stride.
Yeah, I'd imagine that a young youth player probably wouldn't benefit from a full-on curved composite unless they were a super elite level skater, But
Correct.
At that weight and size, it's kind of tough for them to flex and really utilize all the properties the skate has to offer.
Correct. So Yeah, it's we're thinking about players at all different age groups and skill levels, and saying, well, how can we provide uniqueness and unique tech and features that benefit the player from a performance standpoint.
So speaking of levels of play, getting more into that performance level player, he or she is playing, fairly competitively, maybe not on the ice 4 or 5 times a week, maybe once or twice. They're probably looking at this S37, right out of the box. Still has a lot of stiffness, especially in the rear of the quarter package. Obviously looks are still there. I really like the update on the entire line, but what are a couple key features that really stick out for that performance level player in this S37?
Yeah, so it starts with the boot composition. So it's got that fiber composite construction that is 3D molded. So you'll notice that it has that great anatomical fit all the way throughout the boot. So the big one here is, again, not all players can benefit from using a full composite style boot, but this fiber composite for us is something that we've used in the past, has the right stiffness properties for the player that's still learning the skating stride, or looking for something that's a little bit more kind of accommodating and comfortable as well, without sacrificing the stability of the boot. So it's a combination of how we make the skate and the materials that we make that really kind of make up the skate from a value proposition standpoint. I think, a couple other key features here, the S stainless steel, not as high profile as the other steels, but still a high quality steel that is very, very durable. I think we wanted to make sure that this skate had a lot of durability. And then last but not least is a 40-ounce felt tongue with a high density metal tarsal guard. So again, giving the player, nice, soft, comfortable tongue, but really kind of reinforcing that top area for the protection standpoint and making it as easy as possible to flex on.
How many style points does the gold hit at the top add for the players considering?
You get a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Perfect. No, it's a great touch and just a great overall looking skate. And then what can you tell me about the 35 as well?
Yeah, so the S35 uses a polycarb quarter. So again, it's a unique kind of material that allows us to kind of get those fit dimensions that we're looking to achieve. Again, a little bit more of a softer construction than you would see in the S37, but we really kind of pack the inside with as much comfort as possible. So you look at the ankle pads that we use, you look at the liner materials that we use, very soft, plush materials. The insole is a nice, soft, easy, easy to the touch to really drive home a quick, easy, comfortable skate that players can use, in multiple different situations.
Right. So a game ready fit for that casual recreational player looking for a skate they can hop into, start having fun, and, just play some hockey when you get around to it.
Exactly. And I think, the under portion of the boot, we use our LS Pro 2 holder. Mm-hmm. This has the same geometry and dimensions as our LS Edge holder. So from a performance standpoint, you're going to have a lot of similarities from a performance standpoint underneath the boot. The only difference there is you don't have the trigger system, so you're not able to replace. But if you wanted to upgrade that boot to the LS Edge, you could definitely do that.
Definitely, but still, like you said, you're getting that high-end performance and durability even at that opening price point S35.
Exactly.
Well, JD, thanks for sitting down and chatting with me about this new Ultrasonic line. It's a big change this year for Bauer skates, and I think it's real exciting to be able to get that, like I said earlier, that Nexus or that Vapor player into Supreme so they can have a skate that matches their skating profile.
Yeah, and to summarize it, it's all about performance, and performance at different price points, different kind of consumers, and just thinking of things differently. It's a change, but I think the change that we're implementing is going to benefit the entire spectrum of players out in the world.
Definitely. Well, thanks again, JD. Really appreciate it. And then for you guys at home that want to check out this entire Bauer Supreme Ultrasonic line, make sure you go to icewarehouse.com.